So there's Tommy Davy with his best friends. Tommy, can you tell me a little bit about your friends?
I think these are the owners of the house.
So I'm here with Tommy Davy,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all preparing for Django Fest North West, and everybody is already a little bit crazy and practicing and saying I can't play anymore and getting nervous. And but you're here also for business. You're a guitarist and you're also a businessman.
Yes.
So first of all, I'd like to know, how old are you?
I'm 27 years old, and yeah, I've been coming to this festival since I was 15 years old.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Because you seem pretty young to be such an accomplished person already. You're also like very mature to talk with, and very nice, if I may say
Thank
so.
you.
And but you're a great musician, and then you're doing business in a really wonderful way. Can you tell me how that all came about? What happened in your life? What is that?
Well, it was kind of an interesting.
Why are my children not like that?
It was a pretty interesting turn of events. Well, my family, we are a musical artist kind of family, and my mother's a theater director, and my father's a violin maker and restorer. So I was kind of already raised around construction of things, putting things together, and being an organizer. I really loved anything that was technical.
What do you mean being an organizer?
Like my mother is I grew up watching her organize and be an overseer of lots of people doing things and organizing and constructing shows and things. So I feel like later in life I think gravitated towards that. And my father introduced me to Django's music, and in high school I was looking, my freshman year of high school, looking online, and I was saying, oh, where can I see Django? Or I loved Django Fest. He's my favorite guitar player, so I said, okay, well, where can we see him play? And in a couple months he was going to Seattle, so I said, okay, well, can we go to this? So we all.
How old were you then?
15.
15.
And we took a train all the way up to the island, and I saw him play, and it was just it was Angelo and Serge Camps and a bassist, and it was to this day, it was the most amazing musical experience I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Was here on this island.
On Whitby Island.
Yeah.
So that was a huge influence on you.
Mm-hmm. So from that, fast forward a little bit, I've done a lot of different projects, and through Django Fest, I've gotten a chance to back up some people, some great players from Europe.
What do you mean by back up some people?
Play some rhythm,
play
rhythm guitar, and not only that.
People from Europe, like who?
Lola Meyer and Schallenberger. I played with Angela DeBar, Robin Nolan. I played with Flora Nicolescu, Andreas Oberg.
From what age on are you talking about?
Maybe when I was from 17 on, and then in my early 20s I did most of it.
So you must have played already pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did you take lessons, or what happened?
I took lessons with a guitar teacher who played Django style. He taught me lots of transcriptions. He would help me understand how to do fingerings and things that I couldn't do myself, because I was not a very serious guitar player. But when I saw these guitars for the first time, I just said, this is fantastic. I want to do this, because it's like a drum and a guitar and a melodic instrument. It's all self-contained. You can do anything with this kind of guitar. And I thought just the guitar itself was the most interesting designed guitar ever. It was there's nothing else like it, made. So I was fascinated by the guitars and the lore and the history of everything.
What makes these guitars so different from other guitars, in your opinion?
Well, it has to do with the way that the top is constructed and the way that they use
a pliage, or
well, some it depends. I like guitars with a pliage, sometimes without. But a guitar like this particular one has a pliage, and it's very crunchy sounding. But with a non-pliage guitar, sometimes I like more bass. So it depends what I'm doing. But they're like a Neapolitan mandolin, in that Neapolitan, like an old Italian bowl-back mandolin, that they have the same bend in the top. And Mario Macaferi, I think, is one of the most underappreciated innovators of guitar making in general.
And how come you know so much about all those luthiers and styles of guitars? How did you acquire all that knowledge?
Well, just going around and talking to friends who have these guitars. when I was young, I had the opportunity to hang out for a couple days and just play with Selmer guitars. A friend of mine who owns a record shop collects Selmers, and I just was really lucky to be able to examine all of them. I had a chance to really look at Joseph Reinhardt's Macafari guitar and a few other Selmers.
Where did you see that one?
He owns the same guitar.
Oh, wow.
My friend Dave, yeah. And
Wow.
from there, I just kind of, because my father, he has all these violin books, and I would observe all the different kinds of books that he had, and look at the way that they were constructed and different features, because they all have these different aspects to them. And I started applying some of the same ways of looking at violins onto guitars, into gypsy guitars. So you can understand a lot by studying how the thickness of the back and all the different aspects that make them sound different. So
did you feel tempted to start by building guitars?
I'm in the process actually of building. I mostly build parts for guitars because I get a lot of demand for people say, well, my guitar's not sounding right, what can I do? So I said, okay, well, I'm really tired of buying these things from France. I'm going to start making them in California. So
so have you built guitars already?
Partially, mostly restoring them and fixing
wonderful.
them. But my goal is to kind of start producing guitars a little bit on the side, but time is also a problem.
You're already several persons. So
Yeah.
So. Wow. And how did you get into being a businessman? Call you a businessman.
Well, it's funny. I kind of dropped into it. A friend of mine who was the former guy of he still runs Del Arte Guitars. Approached me about selling his CDs and things because he has a great stock of them, and we started working together, and in addition to that, kind of at the same time, I was kind of frustrated because it was very difficult to go to a place and see these guitars and really understand what was different than another one. And myself, I was kind of frustrated with the guitars that I had at the time. I had some really nice ones, but as far as new built guitars, I didn't want to have to pay to have all these things sent, and then I didn't know if they were going to be good or bad. So as I started going to Europe more, I would go to the workshops like Cristel or Castelluccio or Mateos, all these different makers. I would go visit them and understand what made them good and start bringing the ones that I personally liked to America to sell to my friends or people that were in my area. And since then, it's kind of grown into something a little bit that's out of control. And I can't do it as fast as I would like, but I have lots of customers around the world who
so your business is called Djangoguitars.
Djangoguitars.com is my the website, and we do a lot of online orders, but we also have a store. So we have.
Where's the store?
It's in Laguna Beach on Coast Highway.
Where?
It's like right on the coast, like on the beach, like on.
Where?
In Laguna Beach.
Laguna Beach.
So that's about, I don't know, how many miles from here?
You want to go to Laguna Beach?
1,100.
A lot of people actually. It's funny.
1,100 miles
1,100
from
miles.
Washington.
1,100 miles from here. Is that where you live? Then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's not really designed to be in the central hub of this music.
No.
But
that's where you have your store.
yeah, I've had customers from Europe come. I've had ones from Chicago. I've had some from Arizona. I have a lot of clients more recently who are film scoring musicians. There's a movie that's being made. I can't say anything more about the movie, but there's a movie that's being made about Django's life, and we're working with a guitarist who is the musical supervisor on.
In what country?
In the U.S. is part of the crew is in the U.S. and then it's mostly French people.
Because I know something about him, but
Okay.
I will say that off the record.
Yes, off the record, yeah.
That's funny. What else? Sorry, I'm just a little confused now because I'm wondering whether we're talking about the same movie and how secret it really is. I had another question. Now I don't know anymore what it was. Well, it doesn't really matter.
Well, our clients basically, I saw some people who were, former rock musicians, who are studio musicians, commercial people from Disney who are doing Disney movies, all sorts of different things that these guys are working on. They come to me and say, hey, I need a guitar to sound like Django, and I help them find, I get them the materials and the knowledge and books and information that they need to.
It's amazing that you are
to do
able
this.
to do that.
Yeah.
That's really admirable. And there are these brands that have been in the world already for a long time. There are also luthiers that have started to build guitars not so long ago, like Cyril Gaffiero, for instance. And are there specific brands or luthiers that you think that you could recommend that you say are really super?
Well, it's a difficult question because I think all of the makers who make these guitars make something.
It's a difficult question. Yeah.
They make very good products. They make very good things. The ones that I really like make things that are consistent. Like if I go to a guitar maker and I say I want you to make me a guitar, I know for a fact that it's going to be a fantastic one. There are some people that I only will buy a guitar from them if I see it, and then I'll say, okay, I'm going to buy this one. This is a good one. Yeah. And that's what I try to do to even the playing field as far as what we bring. I mean, I sell a lot of DuPonts, which are really consistent and the most perfect build quality. I sell guitars that are more individual, more home, I don't want to say home crafted, but you
bespoke.
Yeah, built custom for each person. Yeah. There's a more personal relationship with the buyer, and I try and make those kind of guitars available by being the person that they're being made personally for. So I work with the process. I send, for example, I sell Christelle's guitars. I send her wood or things that I want used or integrated or materials that I find that I know are very good, that I'm sure will make a spectacular guitar rather than an exceptional one. Yeah. So things like that, and I also am always on the hunt trying to find a new way of improving people's guitars, like different kinds of bridges or tail pieces and parts or tuning machines, anything that can take a guitar that's so and make it into something that people can use without having to go and spend $3,000 or $4,000 for a new guitar. So.
Wow.
I guess you guys need some more
Do you know what I
rehearsal.
mean, right? I've played, you know how I play, and now I can't play.